I think objectively you'd be on this list, so obviously you can't count yourself, and maybe don't count any of your teammates as well. Who do you look at as like around the league as some of the other guys where you're like he's so much more mentally tough than the rest of the league? Are there guys that sort of stand out to you from just like a toughness standpoint?
Um, that's a hell of a question. I would put, I mean, because to me, like a lot of them is personally, like I don't know a lot of guys personally, but I would, from the outside looking in, I would say Jimmy. I would say Jimmy. I would say from playing with him, Kawhi. Um, I would say, uh, I would say Steph. I would say, I'm talking about because it's hard to gauge it if we're saying like guys that mentally tough that made it to the champion, like that won a championship, or just mentally tough in general. I don't know how to gauge it, but
Yeah.
and I'm not the end all be all on gauging guys' mental toughness, but there's a list. Like to me, this is my thing. I'll give you an example. I'm not just saying that because I'm on this show. I've seen JJ limp through a game and make shots. And he's supposed to be hiding on defense and he's still sticking his hand there, hacking the shit out of you. And like that's mental toughness to me, like that kind of stuff. I've seen guys, I'm not gonna say any names, be unhappy with the coach or the teammate and like have to make it through that situation and still do it with a smile and try to win. Like that, all of those things play into my mind. So I think the level I'm at, I'm looking at guys that are like more on my playing field. The superstar guys, I can't relate to the type of shit that they go through. I just know when I'm looking at guys in their eyes, I know the guys that are looking back and the guys that I'm seeing straight through. And that list is like very, very small.
Fred, I don't know. You've said this a couple times that you don't know a lot of guys in the league, and even when I said something to you a couple seasons ago, you weren't sure if I was serious.
Right.
And this is more of an observational question, I guess. But coming from Rockford, Illinois, not playing for a big AAU program, going to Wichita State, getting undrafted. Do you at times, not now, but at times, did you feel like an outsider in a way?
I still do. It's just now I feel like I've accepted it and I'm comfortable with it. At first, it felt like I was like on the outside of the party looking through the window, like, damn, that looked fun. Now I'm like, shit, I got my own party going on outside. Like, that's just how I look at it now. There's not a lot of guys that I relate to. And when I got to the league and I seen the vast majority of guys and just how they move and the things that they do and the way that they talk and the way that they work, I'm just like, that's not really my type of vibe and what I'm into. But I'm now being in this position, I don't blame them for it anymore. I've just accepted that the way that I do things is kind of different. And that's why like I kind of gravitate more towards older guys in the league and vets because it's just like a generational thing where it's like this new wave is just different in the way that they handle things and the way that they do things. So it's like I'm not right and they're not wrong, but I do see myself as different from a lot of the people that I encounter in the way that we handle our business, our basketball, and everything in between.
We talked about this with Dame. I feel like most recently, but we've talked about it with a few different guys. Do you feel like because of like the upbringing, because of your upbringing, obviously, but then also the everything that JJ just mentioned, do you feel like there's a chip on your shoulder that you have to sort of work through when you're playing still?
Yeah, it makes me who I am, just like my personality, and I'm growing out of it to a certain extent to where it's like it's not inhibiting me from opportunities because to a certain extent you can be that guy to the end and it's like you want to talk to anybody, be super closed off, you leave the room, no room for growth. But I'm getting to the point now where like I'm more open to other ways of doing things and like accepting guys is like, okay. And it came from having kids because like you can't control who your kids are going to be. You can try and you can shape them, but like at some point they're like a completely different person. You just gotta accept it one way or another. The sooner you accept that, the more happier everybody will be. So having kids allowed me to like look at other guys different. Like, okay, maybe just the environment or the way they grew up or this X, Y, and Z, and a lot of that comes from being a leader and having to find ways to connect with different guys on the team because everybody doesn't respond to the same type of communication. So that was a big part for me, is just trying to learn guys and find out what makes them tick. And from a competitive advantage, like getting to know the person that who you're playing against, because then you can find those weaknesses or those strengths and use it against them.